Have you been told you're too sensitive, too dramatic, or too much? Do you have big feelings and deep thoughts you don't always know what to do with? I'm Stephanie Lynn, a certified life coach and highly sensitive person. I've helped dozens of highly sensitive clients feel more energized, more confident, and more in control of their high sensitivity. In these episodes, you'll get the information and inspiration to level up your life as a highly sensitive person too. Welcome to the Highly Sensitive Club. Hello there, highly sensitive person. I am going to start off this episode with a little story first. The weather has been changing. It's been in the 40 to 50 degree Fahrenheit zone here in Ohio, and it's finally gotten sunny again, which feels really good after at least a week of gray clouds. And I was out driving. I love to drive. It's one of my favorite activities. Whenever I need to go anywhere with anyone, I'm usually the one who's offering to drive. I love my car, my little HRV. It's just such a fun pastime for me. And wherever I'm going, it's such a pleasure to just drive. It feels like freedom and independence, and I love it. I enjoy using voice to text. It's like my new favorite business tool. And I like to go for drives for inspiration and for errands. And I like to take notes with voice to text on outlines. And I had told myself I was going to go out and run some errands and take care of stuff. And while I was out, I was going to create an outline for a podcast episode, actually, which is funny because it's not this one, it's another one. And I was inspired because I just couldn't get myself to make this outline. And it's a topic I'm super excited to talk about. It's about having fun as a highly sensitive person, which you'll hear next week. But I just couldn't do it. And I discovered, because I have been doing some coaching on myself, I've been getting coaching lately, I've been working a lot on my mindset and my mental state. And I have understood recently that there has been some resistance, and sometimes I like to avoid and procrastinate, as we do, but this just felt a little bit deeper. So in this episode, I want to share with you 5 ways that you can determine if you're avoiding or procrastinating or making excuses instead of doing the thing that you really want to do, or if you are genuinely exhausted, either emotionally or physically. And if that's the case, it's okay for you to get some rest without feeling guilty or remorseful or judging yourself. Here's why this matters. I think we are all familiar with hustle culture and productivity culture, and this idea that you have to work your buns off and you have to be great at everything you're doing and you have to quote unquote balance everything all at once, all the time. I think women especially feel a lot of pressure for this. I would like to redefine, as highly sensitive people, what exactly productive means for us. Because I think our culture, at least in the West, says that productivity means you accomplish things, you achieve things, and it's very results oriented. And I would like to argue that, especially for highly sensitive people, we might not produce the same quantity as other people, but the quality of what we provide to our relationships, to our work, to every part of our lives, it's so high. And so there's an aspect of productivity that is values oriented that I want you to focus on as we're going through this episode. How are you being, and what are you doing in integrity for you? How can you be more centered, more connected, and more present? Because those are the things that truly create so much quality in everything that we do, and not just quantity for quantity's sake. So in a culture that seems to deify quantity for quantity's sake, I want to present an alternative to you. Because I've said this before, and I will say it again. This whole work accomplishment, self-esteem culture that we live in, where success is defined by how much stuff you have and how many boxes you've checked off, that doesn't work for highly sensitive people or HSPs. We want something deeper and more meaningful, and we get to have that. You get to have a deeper, more meaningful experience than just checking boxes off and getting as much stuff done and complete as you can. We as highly sensitive people are more aware, and we're impacted more heavily when our internal gauge is off. Even if we've been out of touch with our internal gauge or our intuition for a while, we can still get that feeling like something just doesn't feel right. Something is off. We use more energy during the day because we process more. We think about more things, we're taking in more information, and it's a reality that we can't go the way that other people do without it costing us something in return, usually our energy and our mental health. I want to rewrite this narrative for you that you're valuable only based on how hard you work or how much you get done. You are worthwhile and worthy regardless of how much or what you do. Just in case you needed to hear that, you are worthwhile and you're worthy right now, exactly as you are, regardless of how much or what you do. You have inherent worth as a person just being who you are. And I would say, too, you have a lot of inherent worth as a highly sensitive person with the gifts that comes with as well. You can be valuable based on how you are showing up, how you're being, how you're acting in the world. It's not the quantity, but the quality of your actions and behaviors that really matters. As a highly sensitive person, you bring a lot of value in how you show up with your particular brand of presence, depth, care, and authenticity. Sometimes we HSPs get scared. Of course, everyone does. This makes sense. But we have a very finely tuned nervous system, and we're great at looking first before we dive straight into things. So it makes sense that we might be a little bit more hesitating and a little bit more reticent than other people are to just dive in and start doing stuff. And I also know that our highly sensitive brains can get us caught in some loops, and sometimes we get stuck. We get a lot of competing info, especially as people who are into self-development and self-improvement and who inwardly reflect as growth-minded, highly sensitive people do. So we get this message, right, that we should just work harder, but you should also prioritize self-care. And you don't have anything if you don't have your health, but you could probably have better health if you just do these 5 million other things. And then you can get everything done anyway with your health. These competing thoughts are so prevalent. And I find this a lot. Like I follow, for instance, Marie Forleo and Denise Duffield Thomas and Brooke Castillo. If you've been to any of my workshops or heard any of my webinars, I love these women. They're just so cool. And I love what they're doing in the world. And sometimes I can internalize messages that may not necessarily be in the spirit of what they intended. Like I can hear this voice saying, well, you're just avoiding. Emotional fatigue is just a state that your brain is in. And that can be true, but sometimes it's not, especially for highly sensitive people. So if you feel like you're getting these competing messages as well, and you're not sure which one to go for, I want you to feel confident tapping into your own intuition and taking steps for you instead of feeling guilty or self-doubt that you're doing the right thing or that you're copping out or making excuses. I want you to connect with yourself. So the problem that I see here is that a lot of times we may want to take a break. We may want to not do the thing that we have on our to-do list, whether that's doing the dishes and cleaning up the kitchen or doing the laundry. It could be a work project or sending an email we don't want to send, or it could very easily be something else, like we don't want to go to the gym and exercise, or we have a million other things that we feel like we should be doing instead of getting outside to walk. So we end up in this internal battle over whether we're just procrastinating or whether we should really take a rest. And I think some of us can end up questioning ourselves with, is this a genuine time to need rest, or am I just making an excuse? I feel bad that I, quote unquote, should be getting something productive done. Again, huge air quotes, AKA I should be doing more chores. I should be doing work. I should be spending more time with others, but I don't really want to do those things. I want to do something else. So here are 5 ways to tell if you are procrastinating and avoiding, or if you genuinely need to stop and give yourself a break. Number 1, this is a question to ask yourself. If you were offered something else to do, so if you have a number of emails to send, for instance, and you're not looking forward to that, but instead someone says, hey, I'd love to take you out to dinner, or let's go for a walk outside, or I would love to just sit down and have a great conversation with you over a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. If someone offered you one of those things, would you be excited and energized, or would you still feel like you want to crawl into bed and go to sleep for about a week? If the answer is that you would be really excited and you would really like to go do something else that sounds more fun, you may very well be procrastinating on what it is that you're trying to avoid. If you feel energized at the prospect of just doing something else, then you're probably procrastinating and avoiding. And that might be a time for you to figure out how to do the thing anyway. It's okay to do something even when you're uncomfortable or when you aren't necessarily 100% certain about it. That's all right. You can still do it anyway. However, if you get offered something that you would normally find super fun and you still want to crawl into bed and go to sleep for about a week or a couple weeks, that's a good sign that you're facing exhaustion. You have probably been working yourself hard. You probably have a lot of things going on in your life that you're trying to balance. Maybe you're weighing a lot of decisions or you're going through a big life transition. Maybe you want to make some changes in your home life or in your business life or at work. You want to go for a promotion or you want to change positions. And you're getting a lot of stress in addition to the things that you're trying to take care of every day. If you still feel like you need to take a break and you don't want to do anything but decompress, that's a good sign that you're probably in exhaustion, whether emotional exhaustion or physical exhaustion. And in that case, take a break. Because if you keep trying to pour from an empty cup, nothing's going to come out and you're going to frustrate yourself. Number 2, what are the real concerns keeping you from taking action? Is it that you are tired and or hungry, or you're feeling lonely or anxious? What are the actual intentions? And are you worried about something else? Are you worried that you don't know how to do something? Are you worried that you're not going to do it well? Are you worried that someone is going to judge you? If you're worried about external circumstances, or if you're worried and you're getting into how drama, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if I can do it. What if I don't do it well? What if I'm not doing my best? What if it's not excellent? What if people are judging me? What if they send me hate mail? What if this gives the wrong impression? That's probably a good sign that if you're trying to get away from that, you're avoiding and procrastinating. All of those things are head drama. Yes, they might happen, but it's also possible for you to handle them when they happen. And it's possible for you to work on your mindset around it. A lot of those things are things that we can't control, whether someone likes the way that we present an email or what we say, or the way that we go about things. Oftentimes there isn't a right answer or a perfect answer or a best answer. It's just getting it done. So if you're getting invested in all of this drama around the how or what's going to happen afterwards, you might be procrastinating and you might be making excuses. If you're genuinely tired, you don't feel like you're getting any joy or any satisfaction or fulfillment out of taking the action that you want to take, you might be exhausted. It might be time to take a little bit of a break. Number 3, whose voice are you hearing? Is it your voice or is it the voice of someone or someone's else? I say that in a cheeky way because a lot of times we have a lot of competing voices that are telling us things that they think would be very helpful for us or things that we're supposed to want in order to succeed. This could be a voice of a parent or a friend or a spouse, someone that we care about and respect. It could be things from the media. It could be things from our religion or faith traditions. It could be things from books or podcasts that we've read from people that we admire. It's giving credence to people who are not us. So in that case, are you listening to voices from someone else, from something that you heard, or are you listening to your own voice? And a lot of times I find that the pressure that I'm feeling usually comes from someone else's voice. I can hear the recording of the podcast episode or the audiobook or the conversation I had where I took on someone else's thoughts and beliefs. And when I really step back and take a look, I usually can find a way to get back to my own integrity and my own authenticity so that I can move forward. If it's my voice that's saying, I need to stop, I need to take a break, I need some rest, that is your cue that you are exhausted. Take rest, take a break. Number 4, I want you to think back to the last time you had a sizable chunk of time to rest and recharge. Now, I know sizable is just relative. It could be whatever you want it to mean. And for me, I usually need at least a half a day of unplanned, unscheduled time to feel like I'm fully recharging and recalibrating. I have a lot of stuff in my life that makes me feel so full and excited. I have great people that I enjoy spending time with. I love learning. I'm always working on self-development. I'm working on my thought work. I'm coaching. I'm teaching someone at my coach training school. I'm spending time with my loved ones. And sometimes time by myself that's just completely unplanned it can be hard for me to make time for. So the things that I teach my clients, I do the same things for myself too as a highly sensitive person. I want so many things to create this full and rich life for myself that sometimes I forget to put in that time to just do nothing. Maybe you have family responsibilities. Maybe you have side gigs. Maybe you're dealing with chronic pain or illness, or it could be any number of other circumstances I might be missing right now. But as long as you can find some kind of rest and recharge time in between other things, that is hugely, hugely important for you as a highly sensitive person. Now, I think for me, in an ideal world, oh my gosh, I would have a day or two a week where it's just completely unplanned. I can do whatever I want. I can spend time with whatever I want, be a little more spontaneous. Where I am in my life right now, building and growing my coaching business, teaching out my program, working with clients, spending time with loved ones, changing my health, having lots of coaching activities. This is just a time when things are a little bit more structured and I don't have as much unplanned time. And that's okay. For you and whatever your life circumstances are, do you need more time or do you need less time? Are there ways that you can find space in between other things to recognize more time that you have available for yourself to take care of yourself and just do nothing without having to accomplish something? I want to give you permission and remind you that it is okay to ask for help. It's okay for you to have someone else run the errands. It's okay for someone else to clean up the kitchen or the laundry or the bedroom. It's okay to ask someone else to take care of the kids or your pets for a little while so you can have some time for yourself. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you lazy. It doesn't make you a bad person or uncaring. Sometimes we need those things. We need each other. We need support, especially as highly sensitive people. So if you need that permission, you have it from me. It's okay to ask for help and it's okay to delegate. And the fifth thing, which is not a question, is about your sensations. I have wonderful people in my life who are much better at listening to their bodies than I am. I tend to be very up in my head. And if I have energy in my body, I'm learning to pay more attention to this and to get more in tune with what are my body's signals and sensations. And sometimes I miss some of the more subtle cues about my mood or my mental state. But anytime I tune back in and I really pay attention to it, I tend to find some new insight or some new epiphany. When I'm avoiding or procrastinating, for instance, I get a fluttery feeling in my stomach and in my chest. It's a very jittery, kind of agitated feeling. It feels very light, like I need to take action. And so instead of taking action in the direction I want to go in, I usually take action in another direction where I can distract myself and it feels much more comfortable. However, when I'm exhausted, it feels heavy. It's a much more slow, kind of a sludgy feeling that I feel in my stomach and in my chest. Same location in my body, but they feel completely different. When I'm procrastinating, it's this like, oh, light, like I have to do something energy. It feels very active. When I am exhausted emotionally or physically, it's so heavy and I am just, my whole body just says, nope. It's a big internal, absolutely not. I'm done. I can't do this. For you, this might be maybe a pressure in your head, maybe at your forehead or your temples. Maybe this is a tightness in your throat. Maybe you feel numb in certain areas of your body, like there's just an absence of feeling because you're so disconnected or you're so tired that you just can't feel it anymore. When you listen to your body's signals to tell whether you're hiding from what you really want or whether you really need to refill your cup first to be able to give anything more, that's when you really start to have some amazing things happen. Now, just to recap, here are the 5 ways that you can tell whether you're making excuses and avoiding something you really want to do or whether you're genuinely exhausted and need to take a break. Number 1, if you were offered something fun to do instead, would that energize you and excite you? Number 2, what are the real concerns keeping you from taking action? Number 3, whose voice are you hearing from these concerns? Is it yours or is it someone or someone's else? Number 4, when's the last time you had a sizable chunk of time to rest and recharge? And number 5, what are the physical sensations you're feeling? Does it feel like you're needing to be active and you're making an excuse, or does it feel like you're genuinely tired and fatigued and you need to take a rest? So for me, I found as I was pondering this in regards to my podcast episode, I was genuinely tired. I have been hitting it pretty hard in my business. I've heard from a lot of people. I see you're doing your podcast and you're showing up on social media. I have a weekly newsletter that goes out. I'm running workshops. I'm going to networking events. There is a lot of activity that's going on, and they're all things that I want to do, as I said. And sometimes that means that I put myself last and I forget. I am a recovering worker mentality, which means I've had this thought, the more I do, then the more I'll have, and then I can be the person I want to be. And I say I'm recovering because I'm working on having a creator mindset, which is I can be whoever I want to be right now. I can have that feeling now. I can incorporate the things that are important to me now, which makes the actions and the doing much easier. And then the have just comes naturally. I don't even have to worry about it. So whenever I catch myself in that worker mentality, I just have to do. I just have to achieve. I have to accomplish more. I have to do more actions. I'm taking it in the process of slowing myself down and reminding myself that rest is just as productive, and what I'm bringing in value as a highly sensitive person is way more important and way more worthwhile than the quantity I'm putting out into the world. Because if I'm showing up with this yucky, heavy energy, it's not going to help me and it's not going to help anyone else either. If it is an internal, nope, absolutely not, it's time to take a break. So what did I do? I took an entire day off. I caught up on my coaching reflections from the program I'm in. I played a good week on Stardew Valley, which was a complete blast, and I always get inspired when I play that game. I took myself out to lunch to have a healthy option that I didn't have to cook myself. And then I had a really relaxing night last night with my fiance at home. And I spent the whole day like petting the cats and just really enjoying my time by myself at home. That was exactly what I needed so that I could turn around and then record a new podcast episode. Because when I was rested, I had this great idea. I bet there are other highly sensitive people out there who are struggling with this idea of, I'm just making excuses. I should just push through. Maybe you don't need to. Maybe it is time to take a break. Now, if any of this is resonating for you and you want someone to help you process and help you figure this stuff out, who can help you move up to the next level, I have one-on-one coaching spots available and I would love to help you. If you're looking for a better relationship with yourself or with others, if you want more time or to use your time better, if you want to change your relationship with money, I love talking about money with people. If that means a new job, maybe you start a side gig. Maybe you want to change your mentality around your side gig. Maybe you want to transition into or out of a career. Maybe you want to start a business. Then I would love to help you. That's exactly what I do with my clients. If you want to make changes in your life and you want your sensitivity to be a blessing as you go through those changes instead of a curse, I have got you. I recently had a session with a new client who had never done therapy or coaching before. And she said, I don't really know how this works. How does this go? So I will tell you, if you're a little bit new to coaching or you've never done anything like this, it's very, very simple and it's perfect for highly sensitive people. We get private one-on-one sessions where you and I get to talk and have a very deep conversation with a lot of insights, where you get someone outside of your head who's trained and objective and who doesn't have a stake in the game to help you process what's going on in your life. After that, I also provide text and voice memo support for extra accountability, because even after the session, going through the motions and taking the actions that we set out can sometimes be hard. So it's nice to have someone walking along the process with you and making it feel easy and doable. I also love to learn, and so I have optional daily exercises that you can do as well if you're interested in taking this to a deeper level and learning these skills so that you can do it for yourself as well. Now, you might not be ready to do a full coaching package, which is totally fine, but I want you to book a consultation call with me. Go to my website, stephanielynn.com. The link will be in the show notes, and book a free conversation with me. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no pressure. And I think it'll really help you decide what direction you want to go in and if coaching is the right fit for you. This is no pressure. It's not a sleazy, pushy call that is the opposite of what I'm about as a highly sensitive person. And I genuinely want to help you. So if it's not coaching, I can probably point you to some other resources that would be helpful for you as well. I also have some new workshops coming up this month. One is all about highly sensitive people, which is an in-person workshop I'm hosting in Columbus, Ohio. And the other is a webinar that you can join called Thriving with High Sensitivity. And that is available for anyone worldwide. You can find those in the workshops and classes page of my website, stephanielynn.com. That's what I've got for you today, my dear HSP. Next time you're in resistance and you're trying to figure out whether to keep going or whether to pause and regroup, ask yourself these questions, check in with your body, and you'll know the right answer from there. You got this. I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. If you're ready to take what you learned today to the next level, head over to StephanieLynn, that's LINN.com, and book a consultation call to get started. I can't wait to see you there, my dear HSP.